If you want to improve your ability to perform under pressure, it is important to first understand the mental processes of performing a movement. In this video, I'm going to explain how your brain works when playing sports, then I'll explain why we choke under pressure, and I'll finish the video with 10 mental strategies that professional athletes and sports psychologists use to help athletes perform under pressure. Before getting into it, however, make sure you hit the subscribe button. On my channel, you will see the brain icon for sports psychology videos to help you build mental toughness, this icon here for beginner level soccer skills, the next one for intermediate level, and the magician for advanced level skills. And you will also see the light bulb for videos that help you build soccer intelligence. With that said and done, let's get right into it. According to research, a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex becomes activated when we are learning a new movement. Once we practice a movement to the point in which we are able to perform it automatically and without our conscious attention, a different part of the brain called the cortex-basal ganglia-thalamus loop becomes activated when performing the movement. For the rest of the video, I'm going to refer to the cortex-basal ganglia-thalamus loop as the cortex loop. Essentially, once we have practiced a skill to mastery, the muscle activation sequence becomes very efficient. When a skill becomes so efficient and automatic that we no longer have to direct our conscious attention to the movement, instead of using our prefrontal cortex, we use the cortex loop. One difference between a professional athlete and a beginner is that the professional athlete uses the cortex loop and the beginner uses the prefrontal cortex when performing skills and movements. The reason we choke is because in high-stakes situations, we often try to control our performance and force a good outcome. This increased control can backfire because bringing our conscious awareness to skills that normally operate outside of our prefrontal cortex can disrupt the movement. Instead of using the cortex loop to perform the movement, we revert back to our beginner strategy of using the prefrontal cortex and consciously directing our limbs to perform the movement. The result is that movements that run best largely outside of our conscious awareness receive our conscious attention and disrupt our automatic fluid movement. For example, in a game-winning shot, we are affected both physiologically and psychologically. Psychologically, thoughts of doubt may creep up in our mind. We begin to worry about the consequences of failure, what others will think, whether or not we are capable of dealing with the situation. Physiologically, our adrenaline kicks in, our heart rate goes up, and our breathing becomes quicker and more shallow. Although these psychological and physiological factors put us in a suboptimal state of performance, this suboptimal state is not what causes us to choke. Instead, what these psychological and physiological factors lead us to then do is what causes us to choke. For example, these factors lead us to focus more intensely on our arms to consciously direct a free throw movement under pressure. Instead of performing the movement automatically, our muscles become more tense and the movement becomes controlled rather than automatic, which results in a bad free throw. This applies to all high pressure sports situations. Common examples would be putting in golf and taking a penalty shot in soccer. So what can we do about this? The goal is to allow our movements to flow outside of our conscious attention during high pressure situations. This can be developed by practicing the following strategies. The strategies I'm about to give you are from the book Choke by Sean Baylock, a psychologist who is an expert on performance and brain science. Number 1, distract yourself. Singing a song or even thinking about a body part like your big toe can help prevent the prefrontal cortex from regulating movements that should run outside of your awareness. Number 2, don't slow down. Don't give yourself too much time to think and to control your highly practiced putt, free throw, or penalty kick. Just do it. Number 3, practice under stress. Practicing under the exact conditions you will face in a high pressure situation is exactly what is needed to perform your best when the stress is on. This can be practiced in 3 ways. Number 1, sprinting before practicing the movement in order to spike your heart rate to make it more similar to the physiological stress of high pressure situations. Number 2, by practicing in front of a crowd. And number 3, vividly visualizing yourself in the situation. Number 4, focus on the outcome, not the mechanics. Focusing on the goal, where the ball will land, for example, helps cue your practice motor programs to run flawlessly. Do not allow negative thoughts to pop into your mind. If you focus on what you do not want to happen, you are giving the negative scenario your attention and focus, which can result in that negative outcome actually happening. Focus on where you want the ball to go. Do not focus on how you will move your body, and do not worry about where you don't want the ball to go. Number 5, find a key word. A one-word mantra such as smooth during a golf stroke or penalty kick can keep you focused on the end result rather than the step-by-step processes of a movement. Number 6, breathe with your belly. It is hard to be anxious and psychologically stressed if the body is relaxed. When you breathe from your chest, your heart rate increases and you become more alert. When you breathe from your diaphragm or your belly, your heart rate slows down, which allows you to decrease your anxiety. As I explained in my last psychology video, it is important to find the right balance between not too anxious and not too relaxed. You can use the belly breath to stay calm and reach your optimal state of performance. Number 7, self-talk. Tell yourself that you can do it and remind yourself that you prepared through the countless of hours of practice. Professional athletes do it, so you should too. Check out my sports psychology Instagram page where I post videos of the world's best athletes talking about the mental strategies they use. Number 8, focus on the positive. If you focus on the negative, this can make you feel out of control and increase the likelihood that you will not work as hard to obtain future goals. Number 9, don't dwell. Take your past performance and change how you think about it. See your failures as a chance to see how you could perform better in the future. Dwelling on a mistake only puts you in a negative mental state, whereas learning from that mistake actually prepares you to perform better in the future. Number 10, practice consciously directing your movements. It is best to let your movements flow automatically. However, if you also practice consciously directing your attention to the step-by-step mechanics of the movement, then you can feel confident going into that high-pressure situation, knowing that you have practiced both performing the movement automatically and while consciously directing your attention to the movement. So you can feel confident that you will be able to perform no matter what happens. That's all for this video. I hope these tips help you in your athletic journey. Comment below if you have any questions. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And thank you for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.